Hello and welcome to Conversational Leadership with Jay Mann. I'm your host, Jay Mann, Superintendent of Creighton School District. We're really happy to have you back with us. We had one podcast rolling into 2026 where we really focused on New Year's resolutions. And so we're kind of continuing with that theme with this podcast because one of the New Year's resolutions that people commonly have is around their personal wellness. And as a district for us, and when we talk about leadership, it's important for leaders to support and believe in and put a focus on the wellness of their teams and their staff. So here in Creighton, that really is a big focus for us, but we're not alone in that journey. We're very fortunate because we have a really powerful partner with Valley Schools Management Group who helps support not only our healthcare and benefits here in the district, but helps support our wellness efforts. And we have with us today, and I know this isn't your actual technical title, but it's what I refer to you as, we have Kendall Taylor, who is the Valley Schools Champion of Wellness. So you probably have a more official title than that, but I like Champion of Wellness.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Kendall, and just kind of give a brief introduction?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Kendall Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of Health and Wellness Services at Valley Schools. And I've been in this field for, I think, 17 years now. And with Valley Schools for almost 11 years.
Wow.
So doing this for a long time, and I just feel really fortunate to be able to do something that I love that helps so many people really figure out how they can be their own health advocate and take advantage of all the resources that are around them.
Yeah, I know I got very involved during my time as our Chief Financial Officer with the Arizona Association of School Business Officials, and I know Valley Schools is a big supporter, and you are often a featured presenter at that the summer conference and the spring conference. And so you may not know this, but I'm a longtime fan. There were many times when I would slip into the back of the room and I would be like, oh, wow. And I would learn things from you that would not only help me with thinking about how we support wellness in our district, but it really got me thinking many times. A lot of my resets to focus on my own personal wellness came from conversations that you were creating in that space with presentations to that organization. So really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I know a lot of those presentations that we talk about really focus on just nationally some of the industry trends that we're seeing with medical costs.
Right.
Strategies that employers are using for health and wellness.
Yep.
What we're doing as self-insured employers to help drive down those costs.
Right.
But like you said, it really does start with you, because if you can be excited, that really does transcend down to those that you're working around. And then, of course, down to our kiddos, which are so important too.
Yeah, no, that actually just triggered so many thoughts for me because, as a district, one of our focuses is student outcomes focused governance. And one of the basic tenets, and we've talked about this a lot on the podcast, is that student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. And then the extension of that is starting with me, right? If I'm not the genesis of change, I can't have any expectation for anyone else. Well, the same thing is true with well-being and healthcare and, support for our staff. And when we think about our kids, we're the models for our students, right? So if they see us being intentional about caring for ourselves, we're helping them care for themselves as well. So I think that's very powerful, and it's important for us as leaders to not only be modeling that, but then making certain that we're creating a culture of support for wellness. So could you talk a little bit about, I know there's a lot of things you do to help us as a district try to build a culture around wellness and healthfulness in our district.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we do a lot to try to identify what it is that the employees need. And I do want to say that it is amazing to work with employers that are so excited about also being that advocate and looking for the resources that are available for employees, because that makes our job so much easier.
Right.
So I appreciate that. But, having that in tandem with just being able to look at the data, and we live in a lot of the data every day. So we're looking at, nationally what's going on with industry trends. We're looking at our own actual data, claims data, to see what's happening within our population, especially here in Arizona. It's different.
Right.
And then from there, we're looking at surveys from employees. And so we want to see what's going on, but we also want to hear from employees, what do you need help with?
Right.
And so putting those two things together gives us a really good list of, items that we've brought on as solutions for employees to take advantage of. And then things that we're just continuously looking at. And it's probably something we do every day. But at Creighton, there are so many resources. And one of the things I'll start off with is just talking a little bit about your Well Styles program, which is the wellness program at Creighton. And this is really your hub. So all the things that I'm going to talk about today, all the health solutions, all of those live inside this hub. So it's a really easy place where employees can go, jump in to the app, the website, and they can log in and they can see all of this information. So Well Styles is the wellness program. It's available to those that have the benefits through Creighton. And they can log in, they can do wellness challenges. There's actually a Winter Step Challenge starting right now, so everyone get registered. And they can also they can track their healthy habits. They can talk to each other and their peers. They can track really whatever it is that's important for them. They can do their wellness exams, preventative screenings, and really everything that they're doing throughout the year is accounted for as points. And those points turn into dollars.
Oh, nice.
And so they can earn gift cards up to $100 if they complete their program every year for just doing healthy things. Probably many of them are already doing those things. But those are available to them, and it's a really great place to start. And it is very focused on each individual. So let's say someone's goal is they want to get more movement. There's a lot of tracking. There's a lot of things that they can do, journeys and coaching that's available to them to help them focus on that goal. But let's say someone's goal is going to be more mental health related. Maybe it's self-care this year. There's things in there where you can even get points for petting a dog every day, right?
Wow.
So lots of stuff.
I could have racked up a lot of points. I didn't realize I could get points for that.
That's my favorite one. I do it every day too.
That's really cool.
In addition to that, there's just so many other things that are available to employees. Again, all these live within that app and website. But the one that I think so far has been really exciting for a lot of people has been the Hinge Health program. The Hinge Health program is a virtual physical therapy program. So when we get injured and we have to go to physical therapy, that can be quite a lot to drive to a physical therapy office, get the time off, do the exercises. And what Hinge Health does is it actually curates those exercises for you. You meet virtually with the physical therapist. It builds out your exercise library, and you can do those things every day on the app. And additionally, they have 3 different pathways. So let's say you just want to get moving throughout your day and start getting more movement in. You have that pathway. Let's say you have an injury. They have that pathway. And the third pathway is probably one that's most commonly used. It's the chronic pain pathway. So people that are experiencing chronic musculoskeletal pain, this is a great option for them. And interestingly enough, this is the #1 reason nationally people are calling out of work is musculoskeletal pain. And so with this program, you get to speak with a physical therapist, you get your exercises, but you also get something called an ENSO, which is basically a STEM unit, but it's something you can control with your phone, but it helps with the pain and managing the pain. So it's been a really great program for us. We brought it on a little while ago because we saw that musculoskeletal spend was really one of the top 5 cost drivers for most of our employer groups, and it's been really a great solution since we brought it on.
It's interesting that you say that, because I remember sitting in a meeting with your team and we were going through like what are the cost drivers in our district, and I remember being surprised that musculoskeletal was such a high cost driver. But the way you described it, and I appreciate you doing this, like kind of putting it into the basics of what's really happening. You know, musculoskeletal pain for a variety of reasons, back injury, whatever, those do often become chronic conditions particularly if you don't have access to that physical therapy, and making the time and having the opportunity to do that on a regular basis is definitely challenging. So making that convenient for people and easy for them to interface with is amazing.
And there's just a huge correlation between when you are in pain, how does that impact your mental health? And so, everything that we look at Valley Schools, we're looking at just all the ways in which that program works and making sure it really focuses on the whole person,
Right.
mental health being a really big part of that.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that it affects, attendance at work, obviously,
Yeah.
right? Like you said one of the main reasons people will call in to work is because they're experiencing this pain. But even when you think about it just from a quality of life perspective, like those are the types of things that also prevent people from doing the activities that they love.
Right.
So it's really a win-win because we're not only encouraging our team to take the time to take care of themselves to ensure that they're able to be present and effective in their workday, but we're helping them live a life where they're able to do more of the things that they truly love and enjoy, beyond what we hope is that they truly love and enjoy coming to work as well. But some of those family activities and things that they do with friends and even on their own. And I think that's probably part of where that impact on mental well-being comes in, because if you can't do those things and you feel restricted in that way, and of course if you're in pain, it's going to make it really hard. So that's an amazing program.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's interesting because we initially, to kind of manage musculoskeletal pain, we brought on a program called Second MD.
Okay.
And we brought that in for you guys in 2020, which we were in the thick of COVID at that time.
Right.
And so the thought was, well, we have all these elective procedures on hold.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great time for employees to use a service where they can call someone, a specialist in that field,
Right.
and say, hey, is this what is needed for me? Do I need this surgery? Is there another route? And so that program, Second MD, is still available for employees today. We say it treats anything from A to Z, that you can call in and just make sure that you're getting the correct treatment. And the data that we see is many people have been misdiagnosed.
Oh, wow.
Or are not on the correct care plan.
Yeah.
So that is one, I think, the top 3 reasons we see folks using Second MD right now. It's still for a lot of musculoskeletal opinions. Do I need this surgery? But it's also being used for if you've had a recent cancer diagnosis, making sure that you're getting the right treatment. And then also women's health. That's a really big thing right now.
Yeah. No, what a great program to have. And
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, you had me in suspense a little bit because you're like, we had this, but do we still have it? But so thank you for
We
looping
do.
back to
Yeah.
we still have that available for
Yeah.
people. So, one of the things that you said earlier, like really also got me thinking about the tools that you're providing to our team. It's obvious that you've not only gamified them, but you've rewardified them, and you're making them simple from an accessibility perspective. And then you mentioned sort of the competitive element that goes along with that. I know in our own executive team, sometimes I'm like, what are people talking about? And they're checking where they are on the STEP challenge, right?
Yes.
So could you share a little bit about some of the challenges that we have going on in the district? And when I say challenges, not things that are difficult, but the ways that people are challenging each other to improve their health and well-being.
Yeah. So, we know competition works. Our own household, we've gamified chores
There
for
you
the
go.
kids. It works. But when you can gamify something and make things competitive, people get really excited about it and it becomes really fun. And so the way that we've set up the wellness program is that every activity is worth points, and those points get you to a level. So there's level 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You've completed your program.
Okay.
And then alongside of that, you can challenge people every day to a weekday step off. You can challenge them to a water drinking challenge. I mean, really, there's something for everybody. And then one of the things that we started probably a couple years ago is we saw that when a lot of people finished their program, we kind of hit this trifecta in Arizona where, school's out, it's really hot, they've ended their program. So how do we keep people going? And so now we have what's called a secret level 5. So for those that are interested and want to keep going, even though they've finished, you can, and there's a secret incentive at the end of that. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that because I think that competes with the secret menu at In-N-Out Burger, which is not necessarily helping you improve your wellness and health, but this one is. So that's really super cool.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. This is like just so important to me. Like, I really feel like the fact that as a district we've been able to partner with Valley Schools, we've been able to work with you, and that's really put us in a position to provide more supports and wellness opportunities for our staff, we have seen a significant difference in our own data. Like our level of wellness is really reflected in, our capture data around, how much medical remediation are people using versus, how much are they getting out ahead of their medical needs. And we're just seeing a significant improvement, particularly over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
What are some things that you think people might be surprised by the level of positive impact that they would have on their health and well-being that maybe they just don't really think about or pay attention to?
Yeah, I think that everyone's journey is so different. And so I often get asked a question of, if there's something that someone could work on, or if there's one thing that could really impact everything, what is that? And what I always kind of turn it back to is that's a really, unique decision for each and every individual.
Right.
And so it's really important as an employer, when you have wellness programs, that you're providing them just every way possible, all the things, so that they can pick and choose what it is that's really important to them, so that they can do those and get to that, best health. Because as we see the medical costs just continuously going up, what we're hoping is that as we can focus on the things that we can control our own health and and the things that we do. And so making sure that people are aware of those resources are really important. And so we really focus on, if there was just a couple things, to start with, prioritizing what those things are for individuals is really important. And just picking one. I think we go into, you talked a little bit about goal setting in the new year of these really big, grandiose things. And sometimes it's just the little things that matter. Maybe it's just working on a better wind down routine at night so that we're getting better sleep, because better sleep really is kind of the pillar and the core of everything, right? Making sure that we're consuming enough water and getting movement throughout the day. I know for a lot of folks that it's just being able to take some time in the morning, even if that's just 5 minutes, to really focus on themselves, their intentions, their gratitude, and starting their day in that way. So it's just so different for everyone. And that's what we love to do, is kind of figure that out and work with everyone on what that is.
That's awesome. Kind of tailor it to the specific needs of the individual. And everybody's needs are probably a little bit different. But some of the little tips you snuck in there are things that are probably good for almost all of us, like making sure you've got that effective routine for nighttime and water and some of these basic things that we sometimes get busy and we just forget about. So it makes me think of Atomic Habits and, doing those small things, but then the repetition of those small things over time builds better, stronger habits. And so we talk a little bit sometimes about intentionality, which is important, and also, making something attainable and measurable in a way that, you're not setting yourself up for failure right at the beginning, that you're really creating a goal for yourself that you can accomplish. And then that will help spur you on to kind of continuing on to other small goals and kind of building along the way. So
and our whole program, all of that is behind the scenes.
Right.
And so I'd say if you talk to our team, one of our favorite people about habit change is Dr. BJ Fogg. So if you haven't read his book, Tiny Habits, it's just really interesting, where he talks a lot about there needs to be motivation. And if there's not motivation, there needs to be a tool to help you get there. And so we really use all these tactics when we put together these programs to make sure that we're going to get as much as we can from just the behavior change aspect to help people get to their goal and what they want.
That is awesome. Well, I, for one, you talked about making sure that we check in on our gratitude and appreciation. I have great gratitude for you being a partner with our district, and very much appreciate you and appreciate you coming and doing this podcast with us today. Hopefully some of our staff will listen to it and be motivated to kind of renew that activity, get that app moving forward. I know I will admit I've kind of lost track of my app and my login, so now you have at least motivated one person to get back in there and get moving. So really appreciate that.
Yeah. And I would just say that, Again, the goal is that there's something for everyone. I know we talked about some of our solutions today, but we just have so many out there. We've got Parsley Health for, chronic disease, women's health, autoimmune. We have Maven Health for maternity management. So if you're pregnant, you can speak to someone, a specialist in that field at no cost. And then we could probably spend a whole podcast on this.
Right.
But mental health, it's so important. And so I really appreciate working with you guys because you guys also know the importance of that. And so there's just a wide array of mental health resources that your employees have available to them. Again, a lot of that is going to be on the Well Styles page, but you guys just have so many things. And I think the goal with mental health, similar to what we were talking about, is just that there's an option for everyone in different ways to connect with the therapist, whether that's talking, texting, making sure we're reducing that barrier, making sure that's free as well. And so you guys have a lot of resources available for your staff. So I appreciate all that you do as it relates to mental health.
It's awesome. And I think I'll extend the invitation to come back, and we'll have a chat about mental health.
Yeah.
So that would be really, really fun.
That would be great.
And really beneficial. Well, for our staff, thanks for joining us. If you're outside the district, hopefully this was helpful to you as well. But if you're inside the district, I would say keep an eye on our Creighton Connection that comes out every Friday. We really do showcase not only our Well Styles program, but other things and other resources that we're providing you to help support you with your health and well-being. And thank you again, Kendall, for being with us
Thanks
today.
for having me.